Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're talking about something I think is super relevant to all of us, no matter what point we're at in our careers.
Definitely.
We're diving into how to stay engaged, how to keep that momentum going, and how to actually really enjoy what we do.
Yeah, it's more than just, going through the motions and collecting a paycheck, right?
Exactly. We're talking about finding that passion and holding on to it. And for this deep dive, we're tapping into some seriously insightful stuff.
Oh, yeah, we've got some good stuff to unpack.
For sure. We're going to dig into these 5 fantastic tips for staying engaged in your career. And I got to say, just reading through them, they really resonated with me. So I think our listeners are going to get a lot out of this.
Yeah, there's some real gems in here.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's jump right into it. This first tip about actively seeking out learning opportunities. This one hit home for me.
Oh, yeah, how so?
Well, it's so easy to fall into that trap of,
Eh,
okay, I finished school, I got the job, I'm done learning.
Real-
But then I started thinking about it. I'm constantly devouring podcasts, articles, documentaries, all sorts of things that spark my curiosity.
Mm,
And I realize, why am I not bringing that same energy to my career?
that's such a good point. It's like we compartmentalize our lives, but learning should be a constant no matter what we're doing.
Exactly. And it's not about becoming some kind of walking encyclopedia either. It's about cultivating that growth mindset,
Yeah.
being open to new information, new skills, new perspectives, even if they're outside our comfort zone. What do you think?
I think that's spot on. And the best part is learning doesn't have to be this formal, structured thing. It can be as simple as subscribing to an industry blog, taking an online course, or even just shadowing a colleague in a different department.
I love that. And speaking of stepping outside our comfort zones, that brings me to the next tip that really grabbed my attention, taking on new challenges.
Ah, yes, this is a big one.
Right. I don't know about you, but that phrase used to make me a little uneasy, like challenge accepted,
Hmm.
said with a lot of hesitation.
Haha. I feel that. It can definitely be daunting.
But then I realized every time I have pushed myself outside that comfort zone, whether it was taking on a project I knew nothing about, speaking up more in meetings, those experiences, although nerve-wracking at first, have always been the most rewarding.
What's really interesting here is the connection between seeking challenges and what we were just talking about with learning. The more you're open to learning and expanding your skill set, the more equipped you are to actually tackle those challenges head on. They kind of feed into each other.
Totally. It's like a positive feedback loop of growth.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, it's way more exciting than just going through the motions, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Feeling like you're constantly learning and growing, it's incredibly motivating.
For sure. Okay, so we've talked about the importance of embracing learning and seeking challenges. But here's the thing. None of us are in this alone, right?
Yeah.
And that's where this next tip comes in, building strong relationships.
So important.
I think it can be easy, especially these days, with things like LinkedIn and all, to think of networking as just collecting connections, almost like trading cards. But this is about something much deeper than that.
You hit the nail on the head. It's about forging genuine connections, not just transactional ones. It's about taking the time to get to know your colleagues, your clients, even people in your field who you admire from afar.
Exactly. And, those relationships can sometimes blossom into mentorships, which are so incredibly valuable at any stage of your career. Have you had any mentors who've really made a difference in your journey?
Oh, absolutely. I was fortunate enough to have a mentor early on who really helped me find my voice and navigate some of those tricky early career decisions.
That's amazing. And it makes me think about how important it is to be a mentor ourselves. Even if we don't feel like we have it all figured out, our experiences and insights can be incredibly valuable to someone else.
100%. We all have something to offer.
Mm.
Okay, so we've talked about learning, challenges, relationships. Now let's talk about something that's a little harder to define, but just as important, if not more important, for staying engaged, staying connected to your purpose.
This one feels big, doesn't it?
It really does. It's the why behind the what, It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind, the deadlines, the meetings, the never-ending to-do lists.
Right.
But I think it's crucial to take a step back every now and then and reconnect with why you chose this path in the first place. What are you passionate about? What impact do you want to make? What gets you fired up in the morning?
Those are such powerful questions to reflect on. And, it makes me think about something you mentioned earlier about how all these tips are interconnected.
Yeah.
Because when we connect back to our purpose, it can actually fuel our desire to learn, to take on those challenges, to build those meaningful relationships. It all ties together.
Absolutely. It's like they create this amazing synergy that propels us forward in our careers.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about actively seeking learning opportunities, embracing challenges, building strong relationships, and staying connected to our purpose.
It's about being proactive, intentional, and constantly striving for growth. And, at the end of the day, your career journey is exactly that. It's yours.
So listener's name, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this. What are you doing to stay engaged and find fulfillment in your career? Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep pushing those boundaries, and most importantly, never stop chasing that spark.